So, guys, this is my review for the Case Study of Vanitas, episode 14. With that, guys, let's dive right into this review of this episode. The title of the episode is called The Witch and the Young Man. And so, this episode was basically centered around, it was centered around Jun Vanitas and a little bit of Noé. But Noé's part in the episode doesn't come up until later in the like way at the tail end of the episode. And Chloe. So Jun, Chloe, and Vanitas are the centerpiece of this episode because technically it's really also mainly about Jun and Chloe. Chloe is basically a vampire from what we find out from a little bit of a backstory with Jun here. She's basically tending to Vanitas. He's been poisoned in his fight with Captain Astolfo from last week's episode, and his weapons actually had poison attached to them. So in his brief fight with Vanitas, he ended up cutting Vanitas on his left, I want to say part of his wrist, part of his arm, and he was basically poisoned. And so Jun was basically tending to Vanitas's body, getting him out of the cold, getting him to a small shed, or basically like a home, small home, in front of a fire. And basically they were basically cuddled up a little bit, seated, body to body, heating each other's body. Basically, Johnny was heating Vanitas' body because, again, he was poisoned, and she wanted to tend to the poison, but he said he had already taken care of it. But during their conversation, again, funny moment is the fact that she was forcing him to take his clothes off so that they could indeed sort of cuddle up and be able to and sit next to the fire so that she can try to help him get warm because he was out there in the cold and stuff like that. His clothes were wet because of the snow and stuff. But Vanitas was basically just like, trying not to get undressed in front of her and stuff. It was basically an embarrassing moment, but at the same time, it needed to be done just to save his life. But during their conversation, she basically tells Vanitas that she knew Chloe from many moons ago. Like, she met her when she was a bit younger, and they were just I want to say acquaintances at the time. And then we found out the fact that Chloe is like a really older, much older vampire than her, than Jun, than a few other vampires that we've known, even Ruthens. So she basically says that she by the time that she left and then came back to her presence, she was a burrow. She was basically assigned to slay Chloe, but she hesitated. She didn't do it, and then she feels obligated that now, that she's much older, that she needs to try to do this. But Vanitas is basically telling her, like, we are at a stalemate because of the fact that you're trying to slay her, I'm trying to save her. So this is a bad thing that that we're at the stalemate basically. But with that, it was just more so just an interesting conversation just to have, and just like I said, I did indeed enjoy getting this backstory, seeing Chloe a little bit younger than what she looked now, and even like her hair color was different and stuff like that. So that was basically for the most part that. But also we see that Chloe, the next morning, she got excited to see that Vanitas was up. He was having a conversation outside with Johanna, and she was wondering, was he really okay? And then she got excited when she seen that he was okay. But then at the same time, she started hitting her head up against the wall because she noticed the fact that like I was basically like half naked or sort of naked next to him last night, blah blah blah. And the fact that she kissed him because she had to force him to drink something. So she took some water, poured it in her mouth, and then kissed his lips, and basically that's how she got him to drink, because she put the water in her mouth and kissed him, and that's how she was able to basically have him drink the liquid that she put in her mouth. So she didn't swallow any of the water, she just put it in her mouth and then just like kissed him, and then just like force him to drink it that way. But she was just like kind of like beating herself up. It was funny. She was like sort of embarrassed, but at the same time was just like thinking like, oh, it was kind of adorable to have this moment with him, blah blah blah. But once she goes outside, they're still having a conversation. Dante shows up, telling him, glad to see you, blah blah blah. And then we have a moment where Vanitas pulls out his weapons on Dante and Johanna, and he's basically like saying like, hey, like you both were holding information from me, this, that, and the third. Like, I need to know everything you need that about Chloe and this, that, and the third. And then we pretty much see that Jeanne basically tells Vanitas like, this is it, like Chloe's the beast, this, that, and the third, and this is the information that we already know. But Dante ended up spilling some more information. We didn't get that full detail, but we just see him say something to Vanitas, and then they pretty much just say like, how we need to go and we need to go to the castle and go see, try to save Noé. And then once we get to the castle, Noé's knocked out and he ends up getting bit by Chloe. Chloe ends up drinking some of his blood, and it wakes him up, and he's basically like pushing her off of him, saying, hey, you can't be doing this without consent, blah blah blah. He put a pillow over his chest and stuff like that. She took it off him. He's like, give me back my pillow. I just thought it funny. Chloe's like, but it's not your pillow. And he's like, I understand that, but still, you know what I'm trying to say. And then that's when she tries to suck his blood some more, and then the butler shows up. I believe his name is Jean. I think it's Jean Jacques, I think, if I remember. And he basically was like, you're not allowed to, basically saying what Noé was saying, like, you're not allowed to bite somebody who doesn't allow you to do it. But then he says in the same breath, it was like, what I meant was, you're not allowed to bite him because I'm the only one that you're supposed to be sucking blood from, which I thought was funny. And then he asked her like, whose blood tastes better, and she was saying, no, of course it's yours. I understand that you're jealous. I think it's cute, blah blah blah. But then they basically say like, you're invited to dinner table, this, that, and the third. And once Noé gets to the dinner table, we see these machine like robot bodies in there, and they're playing music, and he calls them automons or something like that, and he says something else like, not automons but something specific. And then Chloe says something to him in his direction, in Noé's direction, and then she says his name, and he's like, how do you know my name? And then that's when Nadine pops up. She says, it's because she told me this information, blah blah blah. And Nadine is the main villain. She pops up and she's hugging Chloe, and that is how the episode ends. So very interesting stuff in this episode. Definitely great backstory for Chloe. Funny moments for sure. And yeah, it's definitely about to pick up next Friday, in episode 15 to come. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I'm interested more in Chloe's dynamic. Again, she's the beast. She's the oldest out of all these characters in the show. So I'm very interested in seeing, maybe finding out more information, maybe a backstory from her for next week. But yeah, definitely funny moments between Chloe and Vanitas in the beginning. And then Chloe, of course, her response the next morning, that was hilarious. But yeah, it's about to pick up. I'm looking forward to it. But other than that, guys, leave some comments in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. What did you all think of episode 14 for this week? What did you all think of it when you first sat down to watch it for the first time? Leave some comments in the comment section below, and I will hopefully talk to you all next time with more The Case Study of Vanitas. Peace, guys.